So I'm very, very excited to introduce today Melania Luisa Marte, who we're all here to celebrate and be in community with. She is a writer, poet, and musician from New York, living between the Dominican Republic and Texas. Her viral poem, Afro Latina, was featured by Instagram on their IGTV for National Poetry Month and has garnered over 9 million views. It is a fantastic poem and performance. If you haven't seen it yet, please make sure to check that out. Her work has also been featured by Ain't I Latina, Afropunk, The Root, Teen Vogue, Telemundo, Refinery 29, Pop Sugar, and elsewhere. So of course, we're in space with fantastic, fantastic poets and artists. So please, please, please put your hands together, whether that's your virtual or your regular hands, put your hands together and help me welcome Melania Luisa Marte. Amazing.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry that I'm a little late to the party. I'm in a little bit of traffic here. I'm traveling to LA for the LA Book Fest that's starting today and tomorrow. But I'm excited to be here. Just bear with me. My service is going to be a little shaky as I'm in traffic. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, for sure. And thank you so much for explaining that. Do not worry about it. I'm just so grateful that you're here and that you're even amongst this traffic. Here. So would you like to walk us through your professional journey?
Yes, so I started writing poetry since I was a kid. I've always loved poetry, but it really started when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I spent a summer in the Dominican Republic with my family, with my abuelita, and my cousin Maciel, who lived with my grandmother at the time. She used to write, she was like 12 or 13, and she used to write her little boyfriend love letters. And there was a specific poem that I found in her notebook, and it said something about kissing a boy under a mango tree. And that's I thought the poem was beautiful, and I had sort of scribbled my own version of the poem. And when I took it back home, my mom was very upset, and she was just like, ¿Qué andabas haciendo? Like, were you kissing boys under mango trees? You're 7 years old. Like, it's so inappropriate. And it really sort of inspired me because I was just like, whoa, like poetry can get me in this much trouble with my mother. Like, this is a big deal. I need to figure out what it is about poetry that has her so upset. And that sort of began my journey into just, discovering poetry. And I would go to my local library as a kid and I would read poetry books. And I would just immerse myself in literature and in the arts, and slowly started figuring out what my voice was, and what I wanted to write about, and what stories mattered to me. And so that inspired me to then, when I was in college, to continue writing. And when I ended up leaving college, I decided to go into slam poetry. And from there, I kept at it. A few of my poems went viral, some opportunities came my way, and I decided that this is what I wanted to do. So I sort of challenged myself to come up with a collection of poetry, and this is how we have Plantains and Our Becoming. Sorry, let me just mute my messages. So sorry. So that I'm not getting messages as we're speaking. Yes. And that sort of became my journey into Plantains and Our Becoming. And Plantains and Our Becoming was inspired by a lot of my upbringing in New York City, going to the Dominican Republic in the summertime. And I just had so many questions about what it meant to be a first generation American, what it meant to sort of not fit into any molds. Everyone say hi to my toddler who's having a temper tantrum. Rio, tranquilo. And it sort of began this unraveling and this journey of just trying to figure out who I was as a writer, what stories I wanted to tell, and how I wanted to tell them, whether it was in poetry or now that I'm writing a novel, just figuring out what my lane is and going, unafraid and just delivering those stories to help inspire other generations to know that these are in the libraries, their stories are in the bookstores, and they are not alone. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's such a beautiful story, and clearly it has birthed such a beautiful book that I'm really happy to have here. So I would love to invite you to read some So I know you're on your phone right now, and it might be a little
Yeah.
tricky.
So I
Uh,
have one, I was able to copy and paste one poem into the chat that I'm actually gonna, it's Abuelita's Garden, because I know we were discussing the garden poem. So I can definitely share that one, but unfortunately I don't have my book. It's in my luggage. But
okay.
I can share that poem for you guys. One
That's good.
moment.
Mhm.
Can you still see me on the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, here it is. Abuelita's Garden. Dios te me bendiga are her first words to her garden. Early mornings, after the roosters are done preaching and the dogs have stretched downward and long, their spines a half moon of fur and muscle, the birds chirp in search of crumbs and water. Pebbling through air and ground, they find Abuelita's basket of scraps left out for them to feed. In her garden, there is always something for someone to feed. No thing is left homeless. Dios te me bendiga. She glides through her garden, broom in hand, a thing hugging leaves and slim branches, an upended bouquet of shrub, greenery embracing a saged wooden pole. Everything about this woman could decompose and leave not a sight of ruin. I admire that. How much of this earth she honors and will one day become. There is a lesson in humility only those who have seen the bottom of an empty stomach can fathom. There is a lesson in survival only those who have seen the earth turn over and spill its fruits can witness. Mouth dry and aching, many have found solace in my abuelita's garden. A water apple, a warm cup of coffee, a sweet sour sop, green bananas, a buttery avocado, an earthy cup of dragon tea, the world's best mangoes. Her garden is a multivitamin. His breakfast or dinner, each disciple lucky for the harvesting season, my abuelita, the apothecary, the curandera, the cook, Dios se me bendiga. After the wilderness is done rejoicing, it's her time to speak of God in miracles. Her plants dewy and grateful. Here is a mother who loves them as if they were birthed from her womb and just as wise as the earth they rose from. Abuela affirms them before the sun affirms some more. Dios te me bendiga, mi negra bella, mi poeta, mi semilla, mi bendecida. Her blessings are a garden of endless love. They tell me, live because you sprung from me. Live because I dare you to live and thrive. Thrive because the birds, the flowers, the reptiles, we all want to witness your glory. Abuelita's garden is my favorite reminder that you don't need to be one specific kind of magical to bloom. We are all becoming our best, greenest thing. We slouch and freeze. We stunt and cry. We look up and there's a star warming our skin. There is a hand blessing our flesh. From dust to depression, we become. From twirls and teachings, we rejoice. Dios se me bendiga. And we all bloom. So that's the poem.
Oh my goodness. It's another level to like hear you and watch you perform this poem. Thank you for
Thank you. And I
truly.
wish I had my book to keep sharing the poems for you all, but
No, life happens, and it is what it is. We're just, like as I said, we're just so grateful that you still made it today and you're taking the time to spend some time with our community. So are you ready to work on some writing prompts with the team?
yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so Emily will share the screen and then we can start with the first writing prompt.
All right. So our first writing prompt is tell me about a time you had to stick up for a friend. And for those of you who have the book, if you have it, this was inspired by the poem On Colorism. And On Colorism is a poem where I talk about me having to stick up for a friend to a friend. And it was sort of defending this idea that, because we have different skin colors, that we should be treating each other in different ways, depending on the stereotypes that are put upon us. And so when I say, tell me about a time you had to stick up for a friend, I mean, like, what did you have to do, right? And also, like, what were the circumstances, right? What was the aggression? Where was the aggression happening? You know, where did you feel the aggression happening? What made you want to intervene? Yeah. So our second is write yourself a poem about all the reasons you are rooting for your success in life. So this is obviously inspired by what it means to root yourself, but it also means what it means to root yourself up, like root yourself down, right? Plant yourself in the soil. But in order to grow, you have to root yourself. You have to cheer yourself on. So I'm excited to hear what y'all come up with. Yes, I just want to say how beautiful these poems were, and thank you all for you know just going with your heart, going with your spirit, and honoring so many of the reasons why you want to stay rooted and why you want to continue to root for yourself, and allowing yourself to sort of heal a lot of those generational traumas and those generational stories that, although maybe touching and inspiring, are also, you know, difficult stories. And so I am excited for you all to continue writing those stories and writing your lineage on the page. Thank you
Your
guys. Thank
poetry
you
is
all.
as phenomenal as the words that just naturally come out of your mouth. So thank you so much for just sharing your wisdom and your words and reading that poem for us. It was so beautifully read. Thank you so much. All right, so if you want to stay in touch with Melania Luisa Marte, you can follow her on Instagram, Mela Toca Tierra. Also check out her Dembow on Spotify if you have not listened to that yet.
Thank you, girl.
Fantastic.
Thank you. It was such an honor. Such an honor. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. You can also find her on X, the same as her Instagram. And if you'd like to get in contact with her through email, info@melanialuisa.com. All right, and just make sure to follow us on social media. Girls Are Now across the board. You can find us there. And just again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. No life is lifing, but the fact that you took the time to be here in community with us and to write means everything. And Melania, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, y'all have a beautiful night. Thank you so much for being